So today we're going to talk about Yoru on Lotus, because Paper Rex played Yoru on Lotus, and well, it wasn't amazing, but we're going to get into some of the details here of why I actually believe that Yoru could be pretty decent on this map. So let's start off with the attacking round, and first I'm just going to show you this bizarre pistol round, because it was kind of bizarre. There isn't too much going on with Yoru in this one, but it is a bizarre pistol round. So we're going to get a 4-stack here from Detonation Gaming, and they're just going to push A, as you can see, as a 4-stack just there. But Paper X, they're going to go C as a team, as you can see just here. So in they come, right? We send in the Yoru gate crash there, so it's, not like a super incredible gate crash or whatever, right? Just safely behind this box. We send in the Yoru clone just there as well, and they actually take the C site. But something amazing is about to happen, because here's Benkai, right? And these guys, are going to follow these guys on C, but they don't notice Benkai. But Benkai is going to notice them and perhaps hear them as well, as you can see just there. But then he's going to catch just the tail end of them. So he goes behind them. So they know, oh, there's a big stack following us. So instead of planting on C, they decide to actually push forward and do actually manage to get this first kill just there as well. And so now, kind of the rest of the map is open to them. So they've come all the way down here. We've got this chasing back here, and then Benkai is chasing the chasers. And so they carry on, and they actually go all the way to A instead, and go and plant the spike. And here come Detonation, doing a whole tour of the map. And you can see in they come. But they are going to manage to find Forsaken just there. So we end up in a 4v4. They also see Mind Freak. But now, I mean, this is just crazy, right? How often has this happened in a game where you've got Benkai just literally following all 4 players? Very, very odd situation. But actually, Detonation managed to get it to a 2v2. And, well, this was a bit of a theme, actually, for the game. There was a lot of 2v2s, 1v1s in this game. And it felt like Paper X just could not lose them. On the VLR stats page for this game, across both maps, it says that Paper X had 12 clutches to 1. Now, I'm not sure exactly what you define as a clutch, but it did feel like in low number situations, Paper X just couldn't lose. They just couldn't lose. They would just win. Like anything like this, they would just win. It wouldn't matter the situation, wouldn't matter how unlikely, they would just win it. Right? Some were likely, some were unlikely, but it doesn't matter. They were going to win it anyway, and there was Device first. But now let's come to round 7, and really, Paper X didn't get a ton of value out of this Yoru. It was really just a lot of this, where, there was a lot of, like, little TPs into positions like this, like the one that we just saw there. There wasn't anything grand, like into spawn or really deep into sites or anything too much like that. It was just kind of the normal basic stuff. But honestly, a lot of these rounds were kind of determined before Paper X could even do that, because Detonation did a lot of this, right? They were very aggressive on their defensive side. We've got a 3-stack here. In other rounds, it was 4 stacks, right? And so, what would happen is that, like we're going to get in this round, it's just going to be crazy. Whereas Zenfree here TPs on top of this, right? And Forsaken does TP across, but he just dies, right? Zenfree just looks down and kills him. And this is what we saw a lot of in this game, as it was just crazy fights going back and forth, and it was kind of just a chaotic game. Any of you who watched it will know what I'm talking about, where a lot of rounds were like this one, where it's just going back and forth. Okay, the round's over in 10 seconds, right? Like that happened quite often in this game. And so really we didn't get to see a ton of Paper X's kind of attacking setups, I don't think, with this Yoru. But now let's come to the defensive side, because often when we're talking about Yoru on a map, it will be the defensive side where you're like, this just isn't quite as good. I'm not sure we should play Yoru on this map, because defensive side, he's going to be a bit weak, right? But actually that I don't think is the case here, because what we're going to see in this round is something that Yoru can do and no other agent on this map can do, right? Round number 19, and you see here, the Paper X, they take some aggressive control over towards A early on, right? They go and come up here as a 3, and then we're actually going to go even further in just a second as Detonation kind of pressure towards B. So this dog comes out, right, and clears out all of this and tells Forsaken, yep, no one's there. Right, and so he gets all the way pushed up, and he's got this gate crash down here, as you can see. Right, and Detonation are about to come back to him in a second. And this, I think, is one reason why playing Yoru is good on this map. Because if this is any other agent, they need help. Right, because they can't get far enough away. Right, if you are any kind of agent, you're playing up here, it's risky to be on your own. Right, it's risky. You might get out with a neon or a jet or something like that, right? It's possible to get out, but it's risky, right? If you get hit by utility or something like that, you could end up in a lot of trouble. But not Yoru, because Yoru can get all the way away. right? As long as you get out in time, you will get out. And what that means is you can leave like they have here, right? They've cleared really deep. So now they can leave Forsaken here, right? If Detonation didn't come back to A, they can stack 4 people on this other side of the map, right? They can have 2 towards B, 2 towards C, and have 4 people over here. Kind of reminiscent of Haven, where you send just 1 person towards A, and you get them set up, and then you have 4 over here. But that's not often the case what happens on this map. Oftentimes, with other comps, you'll need 2 players here, because you can't necessarily escape, and you need that extra support. And so you have 2 people here, and that leaves you with only 3 people to defend these 2 sites. And as we've kind of seen on this map, that often isn't enough, right? Because this map has been very tricky to defend, and that is one of the reasons why. And so instead, though, with Yoru, you can do this, right? Where Forsaken can set himself up and go and get this kill and get out, right? And now it's just a 5v4, right? And he was, you know, either going to get information that they had come back at the very least, right? And he was always going to escape, right? So they get that information, and now, well, from the rest of the way, we're actually going to see an ace in this round the rest of the way, and it's not from Forsaken. It's kind of a crazy round as they come in, Viper's Pit on B here, Detonation, and then they run in onto the site, right, and they take the site, and Jing's actually going to ult here with his Raze ult, and so in he goes, and Forsaken ults as well, and so they actually managed to find the Viper, and you'd think at this point, round over, right, just round over. Found the Viper, Viper's Pit down, round over. But Anthem is about to say no to that, right? As Forsaken's just looking for other people to kill. He gets 1. Devi actually manages to get another there, but he trades that. And we end up in a 2v1. Okay, and you're still feeling like this is pretty good for Paper Rex. This is actually the only clutch that Detonation won, was this 2v1, where you think Benkai does the right thing, right? He waits long enough to get Forsaken across here, but Forsaken just misses the shot. We can see it just there. And unfortunately for him, this is his TP. So he misses the shot and thinks, oh, I'll TP. And he TPs all but of a meter and dies there to Anthem, who manages to get an ace and a massive round for Detonation. And then finally, let's come to round number 22. And again, we've got a similar sort of setup from Paper Rex, you know, aggressive here over towards this A site. And we're going to see the second reason that I think that Yoru, and Benkai mentioned it in the interview afterwards as well, why Yoru has a chance on this map, right? Because as they, you know, kind of are up here and being aggressive, we're going to send out this gate crash, right? And this isn't the best example of it, but, you know, in theory, you can very much see the kind of, you know, theory behind it and why Yoru might have some advantages as well. And that is, of course, rotate. So Divide's just going to get a kill there through the spam, and Detonation are going to come towards B, as you will see in just a second. And, well, then we're going to get this Yoru gate crash come in, right? And the thing is with Yoru on this defensive side is that he can definitely help you with rotates, right? Because this is another thing that we have seen a lot of on this map, where if the defenders come and get aggressive here, right? And let's say the attackers do start out here, right? But get pushed back. Often a common attacker's call on this map is, okay, well, we'll just go C, right? And we can beat you to the C site before you guys can, you know, run all the way back here and run down here, right? We can beat you there. And so we'll just exec C and we'll get the spike down. And guess what? This C retake is really hard. So, ha ha ha, right? Or the same thing could be true on the other side of the map, where if you're being aggressive here as the defenders, the attackers will just go, okay, we'll go A. And, you know, even if you stop us on A, hey, we can come in B as well very quickly. And haha, we can beat you, right? Like, the attackers just have that advantage in terms of, like, the rotate times on this map, which has been a big problem for defenders, right? But you can envisage a world where, you know, we've got a gate crash. If we're being aggressive on A, we've sent a gate crash that comes down here, right? Or if we're over towards C and we're getting aggressive over here, we've got a gate crash that comes over here, right? And we can beat those rotates, you know, and we can get that extra support to the site. This is like a smaller example of it because they only come into B. But again, it's kind of the same thing that when Mindfreak sees them here coming to B, right? We've got people, you know, on their way, right? We're on our way. We're coming in. We're ready. The Seekers come in as well. And we're going to see another situation where they win another clutch here for Paper Rex. Another example of it as they send in the flashes, and actually Forsaken's going to get a bit caught off here by Rita just being down there and finding those kills, but Mindfreak gets him as the smoke fades. We end up in a 3v3, and well, Divide's going to do well enough here to just survive, stall time, and then that's a massive kill by Benkai. We end up in a 3v2. He will actually die here, Divide, but he kind of buys enough time to get, you know, Mindfreak and Benkai in these kind of positions where, you know, they can now, you know, they're kind of in a good spot to fight this out. And Benkai will fight this out, and he will win these fights. And again, it was just another situation, a 2v2 here, where just felt like Paper Rex couldn't lose these situations, right? Low man situations, they were just winning it every single time. And yeah, this was another example of it, and they would go on to win this game. But yeah, I think we see there that there are some examples, some scenarios, some areas where Yoru does have advantages on this map. And I think had Paper Rex, you know, maybe been given a bit of space and time to kind of maybe fully actualize some of the Yoru ideas on attack, we might have seen a version of Yoru that everyone could kind of go, oh yeah, that makes some sense.